What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Primetime Podcast. My name is Justin, right here on Primetime 21st Gaming. I'm doing this live, and because I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation Classic. I believe this is Episode 7, and doing it live right here on YouTube, and we're going to go through the video, and hopefully it's not too annoying, but we're going to watch the video. I think it's like a minute long, and I'm going to stop at certain parts of the video and talk about certain things of the introduction video to the PlayStation Classic. But as we get some people in here, I see you guys filling in. I do appreciate you all. I'll give you some shout outs here in a second. Let's cover the great sponsor of Primetime 21st Gaming, Catalyst Mints. Catalyst Mints blends the high impact energy of B vitamins, caffeine, and taurine. These mints not only help you focus, but they get your breath back in check. Do you want to be focused playing Breath of the Wild, or do you want to be known as the one with wild breath? That's up to you, but it doesn't stop there. Head over to catalystmints.com and check out the powders and the shaker bottles. This isn't just Catalyst Mints anymore, it's Catalyst Energy. As well as you can check out the apparel too. They have apparel, shirts, hats, you name it. You can find the link in the description below and let them know that I sent you. It's a win-win-win. A win for them, a win for me, and most importantly, a win for you. So check out Catalyst Mints, guys. Alright, let's get some shout-outs. Let me see here. Flick Runs It, what's up? Thank you for stopping in. Broken Records, Nintendies, Erect Eric, MX Demetrius, Madison, Ryan22, TY Opt, The Trilogy, Savage 876341, Buck Productions, Get Out of Dodge, Forever Sarah, Stonewake Jake, thank you guys for stopping in. Like I said, we're going to get started in just a moment here. Let's see. I'm going to give a little bit more time for some more people to come in real quick. Savage says, Prime, what is something you miss about gaming when you were a kid? Probably being able to buy a video game and it being completed. No DLC garbage. Like, when you bought the game, it was finished. It was complete. I miss that. There we go. We get some more coming in. What's up, Connor? Thank you for stopping in, buddy. Appreciate it. PSXBNIN, there's my boy. How you been, man? It's been a while. You haven't been here in a while. It's been a while. Eve Entertainment, thank you for stopping in. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get this started, because I'm not sure how long this podcast is actually going to be. What I'm going to do, though, is we're going to walk, like I said, we're going to walk through the PlayStation Classic video, look at a couple things, and then from there, I'm going to list the 15 games that I think should be the remaining games on the Classic, because as of right now, we only know of 5. So let's get started with the video, actually. Alright, here we go. Introducing the PlayStation Classic. $45% smaller than the original. Okay, let me stop it here. Okay, so first of all, we got some game footage there of Tekken 3. And here, we're shown that you have an HDMI port. And that's cool. That's one of the biggest reasons I want this. Because if you can do anything in HDMI, I'm down for it. Especially retro. You got to make it look crisp. I am a little confused as to what that little compartment door thing is on the left side. I don't know what that is. I've heard rumor of people saying maybe it's a way to connect like your PlayStation account. Like, for if you have a PlayStation 3, then you know you could buy a lot of the old PlayStation 1 games on your PS3. But the only way to play those now is if you have a PS3 or a Vita. Like, the PS4 doesn't support it. So maybe there's a way to add a cable to that, and then you can maybe upload those games on there. But I don't know. It's just a guessing game at this point. Something else. If you look down below HDMI output and then the triangle, circle, X, and square, You see it in small text. It says USB AC adapter not included. What? Are you kidding me? That's insane. It's gonna come with the cable, a USB cable, but you don't get the adapter to plug into the wall. And I just find that very odd. But if you happen to be one of the ones that got an NES Classic or a SNES Classic, which they're everywhere now, you could actually use that AC adapter. I'm sure. I'm almost certain you probably can. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, 2 replica controllers. I saw another complaint was people were mad that they weren't the analog DualShock controllers. It's not really a big deal to me. It's just this is how the original PlayStation came. These were the controllers, and then later, the DualShock controllers. They made I'm looking at it right now. I have both boxes, the original box and the DualShock one, and that's what they did. They, later came out with them, and so they might do that here. That might be a cash grab. They might be like, hey, maybe this comes out December 3rd, maybe a week before Christmas. Nah, I wouldn't even say that early. I would say probably into the next year. They would probably give you the option to buy the controllers separate, the analog controllers. All right, let's keep going. Okay, the reset button suspends games. So similar to the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, this always makes me nervous, especially when I'm playing the one of the Nintendo Classic little plug and plays. Normally, when you hit reset, you lose everything, but on these things, it's basically creating a save spot for you. So if you're somebody who grew up playing these, like, it almost makes you second guess pressing reset, but you're pretty okay with this here. It's just going to save your game for you, or give you an opportunity to suspend your game. That is a very good game right there. Alright, the open button changes the virtual disk. I would assume takes you back to the main menu. So, that's cool. Alright, here we go. So 20 preloaded games featuring Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash. I've never played Jumping Flash. Ridge Racer Type 4, that is a fun game. There's Tekken 3. I'm not real big into fighting games, so it's kind of whatever for me. But I do know a lot of people like that game. And Wild Arms, another game I've not played. So I've played 3 out of 4 of these. And there it says up top, 20 preloaded games. Well, right now we only have 5. And we're going to talk about the other 15 here in a minute. A couple more video clips of the games. And there it is, PlayStation. It's done. It's over. So we can... let's take it back here for a second. I want to see something right at the very end. What's up, Brutus? Yeah, there we go. We got the 5 games. We're going to get these small clips of the games again. Okay, there we go. The PlayStation Classic. Look how small it is. From this view, I don't know if the controller's just up close. It looks like the controller is honestly... Well, it's probably going to be. The controller's going to have to be the right size to fit in your hand. So the controller looks bigger than the console itself, which is probably, that's probably accurate. You got to be able to hold it comfortably in your hands. But, okay. So we've watched the video, and let me see. I can't believe they named it Classic, laugh out loud. Yeah, TY, man, I was thinking too. I was like, man, they could have went with something a little, creative. They just was like, hey, we're getting on board that train. We're getting on the Classic train, because I don't think you can really I don't think you can copyright the word classic, so it's not like Nintendo can come after them for it. But yeah, they did. They hopped on board with that. And I think eventually we knew something like this was going to happen. And there's probably a ton more of these to come. The PlayStation 2 Classic. Heck, Sega's going to get involved. I know they're doing a Genesis one, and it's not one of those crappy ones that come out, it seems like, every week. It's like a legit one. And there'll probably be a Sega Saturn one. Who knows, a Dreamcast one would be pretty cool. But like I said, I feel like there's going to be a ton of these to come out eventually. So, okay. We know the 5 games that they've announced. I'm going to give my 15 games that I think should be there. And number 1, these aren't in any order, obviously. It's not like number 1's my favorite or, down to my least favorite. It's just the top 15 games that I think should be on this PlayStation Classic. Number 1, Tomb Raider 2. I would say Tomb Raider 1. Heck, I would like Tomb Raider 1 and 2. But obviously, I don't think we're going to see a lot of repeats. Like, how like the SNES or the NES Classic had Super Mario 1, 2, and 3. I don't think that's going to happen on this. Just because there's only 20. And how much is it's $100, man. Yeah, we'll talk the price in a minute. But so yes, number 1, I think Tomb Raider 2 is going to make it because it was the fan favorite, I guess, the people's choice out of the first 5 games for PlayStation 1. So I think Tomb Raider 2 makes it. Number 2, I think Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That game's got to be on there. That is a great PlayStation 1 game. I think we're going to see, at number 3, I think we're going to see a Resident Evil. And this is how I've narrowed it down. I don't think we're going to see Resident Evil 2, which would be the fan favorite, because of the remake coming out less than a month, or, a little over a month at that point. I don't think Capcom would want people going back and playing that. I think they want them to get excited for the remake, and they'd rather them be playing the remake. Same with the first Resident Evil. I'm sure they would rather them be playing the HD remaster. So I'm thinking that Resident Evil 3 is going to be, if we get a Resident Evil in the PlayStation Classic, I think it'll be Resident Evil 3. I think number 4, we're going to get a Gran Turismo. I don't know which one. I would say probably the first one. Number 5, Twisted Metal 2. 6, this kind of eliminates what I just said about Resident Evil, but that's Capcom. Maybe that's Capcom's way of thinking. I don't know. Like I said, this is all guessing. This is just me in my head planning this thing out. I think we're going to see a Spyro for sure, because a lot of people, as soon as you see a picture of the PlayStation or even mention the PlayStation, Spyro the Dragon is for sure, a game that comes to someone's mind. So I do believe we'll probably see the first Spyro. And then at number 7, we're going to see a Crash Bandicoot. You would almost have to. Crash was the face of PlayStation. All those commercials where he's outside Nintendo's headquarters with a megaphone. It's just, he was PlayStation. I think you have to have a Crash game. Even though the remastered games come out, the Spyro ones come out, and they'll, the Spyro one will be out by the time this releases. I just think you have to have a Spyro and a Crash. Spyro 1 and then Crash Bandicoot Warped, I think, would be the better one. I was never a big fan of the first Crash. I always liked 2 and 3 way better than the first one. So I would think Crash Bandicoot Warped makes it. Number 8, Parappa the Rapper. It was just an iconic game when it came out. Very popular. I'd say the first one. Number 9, Metal Gear Solid. It's got to be on there. 10, I would say a Cool Borders game. I don't know which one. 11, a Tony Hawk Pro Skater would probably be a one they might struggle though because of the music in those games, with all the licensing and stuff. So that one could be left off. Good possibility that one doesn't. One of those games don't make it. At number 12, I have a siphon filter. Once again, I don't know which one. I just think a siphon filter probably makes it on. 13. I've watched and I've read on Twitter some other people who have listed games that they think should be on here, and not one of them listed this one. And I think it's got to be on there. I think it's got to get on there. Croc. You got to have Croc. For those of you who don't remember Croc, he was basically, I don't know. He was kind of like Yoshi in a Super Mario 64 environment, gameplay style. Croc was pretty cool. So I think Croc in there at number 13. I'm kind of split here on 14. I would think Oddworld gets in, but I believe they're remaking that game as well. So if not Oddworld, I think Rayman possibly makes his way in. And then 15, I want to say maybe Silent Hill, but I don't know if they would put Resident Evil and Silent Hill both on. It would be pretty cool, and I think for those who may not be used to playing the PlayStation, they have to play the greats. And I think I listed a lot of really good PlayStation games. I'm sure I've missed some of your guys' favorites. Be sure put them in the chat, guys, if you think I've missed any that should be on there. Yeah, I said Tomb Raider 2. I don't think they'll put all three on. That don't make sense, especially only having 20. And like I said, someone asked me, I can't remember who asked me what the price was. It's $100. And if you really look at it, you get 2 controllers, but they don't look like they're very much to make. You know what I mean? Like, let's say Nintendo comes back with a Nintendo 64 Classic. Those controllers would probably be a little bit more pricier to make. Not really these, you know what I mean? I just don't feel like they would cost a whole lot. But what do I know? But anyway, with only $100, only 20 games, no DualShock controllers, no adapter to plug into your wall. That price is a little high. Obviously, I'm gonna get one. I've actually already pre-ordered one, so I'm getting one anyway. And I just wanted to pre-order it already because I'm like, I was one of those ones that waited in line for the NES Classic on release day, and I missed an NES Classic by one person. So I was one too far in the line to get an NES Classic, and I hunted and hunted until I finally got one. And then a year later, they're everywhere. But all right, let me get some questions here. Justin Durbin, what's up, man? So you really think we'll see an N64 Classic? I would assume. Absolutely. I would assume. And eventually I think we'll see a GameCube Classic. I really do. But a 64 Classic would be big. Man, that would really take a trip back to the 90s. The PlayStation versus the N64 again. And it would be so much better if they could release it around the time this would come out. That would be really cool. But I think Nintendo, I don't think they have a lot of, come on, October is right around the corner, so they'd have to announce it really quick. But a lot of people are thinking it's coming, so I definitely see it happening. It's gonna happen, just don't know when. If you could only pick one, which would it be out of the PS1 and N64 Classic? The PS1. I mean, we're to the point though, like as of right now you can't really say because you don't know the games yet. I mean, I could probably imagine for the 64, you'd have Mario 64, you'd have Super Smash Bros, you'd have Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, those games. I'm missing some. Let me see. Donkey Kong 64. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'm looking, seeing if I could find something. Oh, the Mario Party games. Just, probably an NFL Blitz. Something. But, well, I don't know with the teams and stuff. That might be an issue. But, I would definitely pick the PS1. The PS1, the NES and PS1, I know I've said this multiple times. A lot of you have probably heard it so many times from me, and I hate to repeat myself, but the NES and the PlayStation 1 are my top two favorite consoles of all time. So regardless, I have to get this. I have to have it. Just like I had to have the NES Classic, I have to have this. So I pre-ordered it, and I'm very excited. I will be at my local Best Buy December 3rd picking this baby up. So Ape Escape for sure needed to be on this. That's the thing, though. I don't see Ape Escape being on this because Ape Escape, it required the analogs, and I just don't see it being on here. Even if they were to release the analogs later, the game's no good to you with this controller, so they're not going to put a game on there that you're not going to be able to play until maybe later. But yeah, I agree though. If they had analogs, Ape Escape definitely needed to be on here. You don't think they would put more than one Crash on like Nintendo did with Mario 1, 2, and 3? I don't. Nah, I don't, man. I don't. Because with there only being 20, and the NES Classic had 30, they had some breathing room for more games. I just don't see it happening. I think they'll pick one Crash, one Spyro, one Tomb Raider, one Twisted Metal. I just think that's what they'll do. How can people pre-order this and not know the other games, though? What if they're horrible choices? That's just the thing, man. That's just the thing. Like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite consoles anyway. I still have one hooked up all the time here in my game room, and I was gonna get it anyway. So even if the choices are horrible, I was getting one anyway. But I doubt they'd make horrible choices. They want to sell this thing, I mean, not everybody's like me and just wants one because you're a PlayStation 1 fan. They want to sell this thing. They're going to put the classics on there. The PlayStation Classic. You're going to reach out for that Metal Gear Solid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Let's see. I love that the box will look like the actual box it released in. Yeah, that is really cool. That is really cool to be a miniature box of the original PlayStation. And I mentioned earlier, I was looking up, you guys obviously can't see, but I have the first PlayStation box and the second PlayStation 1 box that came with the DualShock. It was like a silver. And I'm looking at it right now. That will be really cool. And when I get it, I'm gonna take a picture on my Instagram of the original box and that box side by side so you can see the difference. So be sure to follow me, guys, on Instagram. Primetime 21st _gaming. I'm always posting on there when I'm going live, or when a new video comes out, or just stuff from the past, man. Like maybe if a game came out today 20 years ago, I'm posting it. Pretty cool stuff. So check me out on there. Check me out on Twitter, Primetime 21st Gaming. I'll answer a couple more here. Not sure how I feel about the analog, but I'm getting one anyway. Same here. Like, the analog stick would be pretty cool, but I don't mind this at all. I've probably the game I've probably played the most on this thing is probably Tomb Raider. And my wife was actually watching me play the first Tomb Raider not too long ago, and she wanted to try it. She never played it before, which blew my mind. And she's trying to use the analogs, and I'm like, babe, you can't do that. You got to use the D-pad. And she hated it. She absolutely hated it. But I guess I'm just used to it. Let's see. Do you think we will be able to hack it? People are smart. I mean, I'm sure you might be able to hack it, but you got to think these ROMs are a lot bigger than NES games or SNES games, so probably fitting a whole PlayStation collection on this thing is not possible. I wouldn't. I can't imagine. And dude, can you believe the Telltale news? Yeah, definitely out of nowhere. It's sad though. You know, all those people losing their jobs. They all got laid off, and you know, of course that's the most important part of these people lost their jobs. But as the video game, you know, as the fans of Telltale, it kind of sucks though, because there were some people that have paid for all of the Walking Dead, the final season, and it doesn't look like they're gonna get the rest, and that really blows, because I personally think that was Telltale's best series. The first season was amazing. It was one of the only games at the time that ever brought a tear to my eye. Like, what a touching game. It was a really good game. Kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I love how they're done in episodes. Season 2 was very good as well. And I was waiting until the final season was released on a disc, because I did Season 2 episode by episode, and I absolutely hated having to wait till the following month for a new episode. It's honestly, because they would leave you with those cliffhangers. They always did a phenomenal job. But they had a lot going, you know. I mean, they did the Batman series. Wasn't there a Game of Thrones one? They did a Game of Thrones. They did the Guardians of the Galaxy. They just, I don't know. It's sad though, because I do enjoy their games. Good stuff. I'm getting a phone call from someone. We're just going to deny that right now, because we are live right now with the Primetime Podcast, guys. But we're about to end it here. I just want to say thank you to everybody who stopped in live. I see a couple of you guys coming in. Unfortunately, the podcast is ending. But if you did miss it, it will be up eventually. Shortly after this ends, it should be up. So, with that being said, guys, be sure to subscribe to Primetime 21st Gaming right here on YouTube. You can check out the playlist, guys. There's gameplay reviews and the Primetime Podcast. The last episode of the Primetime Podcast I did was covering the Chris Houlihan conspiracy with The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And there's a Tomb Raider one, there's Nintendo 64 versus PlayStation 1, which my buddy Dion joins me in that. And gameplay, there's the first Tomb Raider, a complete walkthrough. There's Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2. There's just a bunch on there, guys. You have to go check it out. And reviews, I just did the review for Silent Hill 1. I do short reviews. I don't try to keep them long, because I know people don't like to watch long videos. And I try to just kind of chop them up into a small review and just tell you what I thought about it, and if I encourage you to play it. So definitely go and check all that out. Like I said, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those links are also in the description below, with Catalyst Mints, guys, the great sponsor of Primetime 21st Gaming. Be sure to check them out. But that's going to do it for me, guys. This has been the Primetime Podcast, Episode 7. And I'll see you guys in Episode 8, or a playthrough, or whatever it may be that I'm doing next. So, I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.